Hello, I'm Michael Williams. Great to see you. If you recall, in the last few emails, we've been talking about the Starbucks effect and the anticipation effect. And I promised you in the last email that I hope you saw that I would be recording a short video for you to explain how to get mad. You're probably wondering, what are you talking about, how to get mad? Well, we use the word MAD as an acronym or an acrostic to explain some very, very specific steps, tactics, even strategies that you can use to change the impact that this Starbucks effect, that this anticipation effect is having on you. So let's just do a really, really brief recap. Many of you, some of you at least, have places or situations in which when you think about them, they cause you to start to feel kind of anxious. You start to anticipate the worst. And so we used Starbucks as one of those places because for so many years I've had clients who've struggled with either going through the drive-thru or walking in and ordering the coffee that they want. And so they anticipate, even when they think about going to Starbucks or any other coffee shop or any other restaurant to order the food or the coffee, the drink that they want, they start to become anxious and nervous. On top of that, many of them or some of them become anxious or nervous about giving their name because they know the person's going to say, okay, what's your name? So we call this the Starbucks effect. Now, embedded in this is what we call the anticipation effect. And this is where you begin to anticipate the negative. You negatively anticipate a situation. You negatively anticipate that you're not going to speak as well as you would like. You anticipate that you're going to get stuck, that you're going to block, that you're going to stutter. And it's this anticipation that builds the anxiety, that builds the nervousness, and can actually cause you to not speak as well as you would like, to actually get stuck or stutter, stammer, block, and so forth. Simply because you've been anticipating it. You're creating a situation inside yourself that predicts this behavior. So how do we counter this? How do we counter it? And that's what we're going to talk about today in this video. So we talked about get mad. M meaning memories. You change your previous memories about Starbucks, about your Starbucks video. Now you're probably wondering, well, how do I change my memories? It happened already. How do I go back and change it? So I'm going to briefly describe to you a tool that we use inside Pro 90D. And in order to learn more about it and to learn how to do it, you're going to need to get into the Pro 90D speech system. But I am going to describe it to you now, and it's called verbalization. Verbalization. What this is a more powerful way to reimagine something, to go back and to look at something that's happened in your past. Now, you and I already think about things that have happened to us in the past. We recall previous experiences and situations. People do it all the time. When I'm talking to someone, they say, well, I went to Starbucks and I had a hard time ordering the coffee I wanted. I couldn't give my name. And even while they're describing that, sometimes I can see them beginning to struggle more. Why? Because they're bringing up, they're remembering, right? They're remembering something that happened in their past, and so they're starting to re-experience it. The emotions, the feelings that they felt when they were at Starbucks. Their speech even starts to deteriorate when they start to talk about that previous experience. Okay? So what we're going to do is use that same process, but we're going to go back and we're going to restructure that memory. We're going to change that memory. So you use verbalization to go back and change a memory. Now, how do we do that? So just briefly, I'm going to describe an example of what that looks like. So let's just say you went to Starbucks last week and it didn't go too well. So how do you restructure or change that memory. So what you would do is you would sit down, or you could stand, you could be walking, doesn't matter, and you'd say something like, I went to Starbucks and I felt excited. I knew what I wanted to order. And I felt like, wow, this is going to be a great practice opportunity for me to go in there and to speak well. So I went in, I ordered a cafe mocha grande, and they asked me for my name. I gave them my name. I was very relaxed. I was a little nervous, a little excited, but I still did it well. And I was really surprised myself. And so now I feel a lot more confident about going to Starbucks. So that's an example of verbalization. In Pro 90D, I describe all aspects of what I just did. We give you more examples of how to do it. And you see how verbalization fits into the whole Pro 90D speech system. But that's a very powerful and a very real example of how to go back and take something that's happened to you and remember it differently. Okay. So someone says, oh yeah, well, that doesn't work. Well, no, it does work because you already go back and think about things that have happened to you. This is a way that you can go back and think about them differently. Okay, so this is the way your brain works. It absolutely does work. You just have to do it. So that's the first one. You go back and you change previous memories. Now, you can't just do that once. You have to repeatedly do this. So whenever you want to think about, right, or you want to remember or recall something in the past, you just think about it differently. You reframe it, right? Now, let's talk about the A. The A is to positively anticipate, right? Or to anticipate with excitement your next visit. So with the M, you went back and you changed the memory, what happened before. Now, you're going to positively anticipate it. So that means you're going to say something like, wow, I can't wait to get to Starbucks. This is going to be fun. I'm going to figure out a way I can order the coffee that I want. I'm going to be able to introduce myself. So you're not necessarily saying this aloud, but as you think about going to Starbucks, you reframe the thought from worrying about what might happen, what happened in the past, from anticipating I'm probably on the block, I'm not going to be able to disseminate, to thinking about it in a challenging but encouraging and an exciting way. Can't wait to get there. I've got some strategies that I'm going to use. I'm going to figure out a way to order the coffee that I want and say my name, right? So the key to this is to remember that when you worry about something, you're negatively anticipating it. And it works, right? When you worry about something, you build up this anxiety, this anxiousness, and when you go there, you probably don't speak as well as you could have. So all you're doing is taking the same process that you use and you're changing it to have it benefit you, right? To have it support you. You're changing it from something that's destructive to something that's constructive, right? Same process. It's been working all these years. Now you're just changing how it's working and that it is working now for you, okay? So someone says, oh, well, that doesn't work. Well, it has been working. Now we're just going to change how it's working. Does this make sense? Right. Very, very important to understand. When we're talking about this stuff, some people say, oh, yeah, well, I tried that and, I don't think it's going to work. And that's just all this stuff, visualization and all this. No, you've been already doing it. It's just been impacting you in a negative way. Okay. So you anticipate with excitement. Again, this is not just something that you do once. You don't just anticipate once. When you worry, you usually don't just worry once. You worry over and over, and you think about it over. And so now you have to positively anticipate over and over and over and over again, right? All right. The third thing that we do in this get mad formula, if you will, is go out and demonstrate. That's the D. Demonstrate that you can order what you want and you can introduce yourself. You can say your name. So what you might want to do is be proactive. Make phone calls and say, yes, this is blah, blah, blah. Yes, my name is, give your name proactively. Go out, go to different places and go to places where they're going to ask you your name, where you're going to be ordering, in other words, and give them your name first. Even though they're going to ask you your name later, but you're proactive, you gave them your name. And what I find is that when people are proactive, when they proactively introduce themselves, they're much more able and likely to be able to say their name, first of all. And then second, when they ask you your name, you've already said it. So you and I both know that once you say something, it's often, not always, but it's often easier to say it again. So proactively introduce yourself, right? And again, this is not something you just do once, but you have to keep getting out there doing it. Otherwise, this stuff just doesn't work, right? You got to get out there and do it. So yes, you can use your imagination and you can visualize, you can imagine yourself doing something, but ultimately you will need to get out and do it. So you get out and you demonstrate that you can do it. You demonstrate it in the lowest of pressure speaking situations as you can. Again, phone calls, go out different places, and you be proactive. That's a strategy. And then the other thing that you have to remember is you positively anticipate. You don't allow yourself to negatively anticipate or worry about it. It's simply not going to be helpful. So 3 things that you can do to help counteract or use the Starbucks effect and the anticipation effect in a positive way is to get mad. Number 1, change the memory. We use verbalization. Number 2, you positively anticipate, or you anticipate with excitement. Remember, when you worry, it's negative. Anticipate with excitement, it's positive, it's energizing. And then 3, you demonstrate, which means you got to get out. You have to do it. You do it. You find different situations in which you feel a little more in control over, right? And then you practice, you do it. Same thing that I do with my Spanish. I find people with whom I feel comfortable. I find a quiet area, or I'll just do something to demonstrate that I can do it. And then I begin to branch out and expand out more and more, right? And so I did this it's a long time ago now, but I would just have conversations. I would practice with people until one time I was actually able to stand up and do a sermon in Spanish. I would never do that now because I hadn't been practicing, but I did it then because I just found little situations to build my confidence, to demonstrate that I could do it, until finally I said, okay, I'm going to do it, right? So if I wanted to do that again, I could, in terms of speaking to a large group or giving a presentation in Spanish, but I'd have to prepare for it, and I would use the same strategies that I'm sharing with you right now, so I know that they work. I hope that this has been helpful. What I want to encourage you to do, if you want to get more, please don't just rely on these videos to take you to that next level. They can be helpful, they can be a great step, but I want to encourage you to visit pro90d.com, pro90d.com. Everything you need is right there. We have several options for you to get started. You want to get yourself into a system, a complete holistic system with a supporting community to help you take your speech to the next level, so you can say what you want to say, when you want to say it, the way you want to say it. You can say it smoothly, clearly, and confidently. So if that's something that you want to do, don't wait. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. The less motivated you are, the more opportunities you've missed, the more set in your ways you get. So, and the more you build your life around your current speech and your current speaking identity, right? Then it's hard to kind of change all of that. So start now, because 3 months from now, if you do the work, you'll look back and go, wow, man, look at where I'm at now. Look at my speech now. Whereas if you don't do anything, you will have a default future. That is, 3 months from now, things will be the same or worse. I guarantee it. If you don't do anything, they'll be the same or worse. If you do something, they'll most certainly be better, right? May not be where you want, but that's normal, right? We all set sometimes unrealistic expectations, but 3 months, and then 2 or 3 more months, wow, everything's different. So we invite you into Pro 90D. My name is Michael Williams. Thank you for watching this video. We'll see you soon.